Good morning and welcome to Skate Around 2, held by the fabulous Namur Roller Girls in full-WF, Belgium. I'm Dork Mistress.
I'm Knikmops.
And we're going to take you through the action for the whole weekend. And as a broadcasting, thank you to Namur Roller Girls. And we're halfway through the first half of Game 1. So we have Vienna Roller Derby up against Lute Destroyeuses, Les Encasteurs. And the score at the moment, we've 14 minutes left in this first half. We have 77 points for Vienna Roller Derby, 19 points for Les Encasteurs, due to a couple of massive jams from Vienna, racking up 20 and 30 points in those jams. What have you seen so far, Nick Mops?
So the Paris team went off very quickly with a really strong start, couple of leads, couple of points, but then indeed 2 or 3 massive jams, 20 to 30 points for the team from Vienna, and this is the score now.
So this is a weekend tournament. We have 7 games over the 2 days. We have 4 teams competing for WFTDA ranking points. This is a sanctioned tournament. And so we have Lute Destroyeuses, Vienna Roller Derby, Glasgow Roller Derby and Namur Roller Girls over the next 2 days. Plus on Sunday morning, we have a game in the Belgian Championships where we have Namur B playing a Blackland Rocking K-Rollers, and so that's going to be first thing tomorrow morning. So it's a whole weekend of roller derby action.
Yes, so a lot to look forward to, and we'll see what happens in the next jam.
Yep, we'll take you to the game now.
Yes. We have jamming for blue, we have 8-7-0, and for the orange team 1-0-0-1.
Vienna is playing in the blue, and it is Encasteurs playing in the orange. Which is a little bit confusing because they're each other's team's colours.
Yes.
So that jam comes to an end, but it is 4 points for Vienna picked up with that hit it and quit it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
short jam there. Yeah. 0 to 4 points scored, and Vienna is slowly but surely ensuring their point differential and making sure they take the lead, and they take the lead again.
Just left that inside line open, and you can't let on the scoreboard it says lead as the lead jammer for Vienna. That's
but it is Betty
name.
Boom from Vienna who plays.
And completes that scoring pass. Is back in the pack, but that is some great defense from Encasteurs.
We have the jammer for Lute in the penalty box with the cover in hand. So we have a power jam for Vienna.
And Vienna have made the most when they have lead. They are making the most with these multi-pass scoring jams. But it's great work from Lute holding that jammer back. That's that's coming close to a penalty kill.
Yes, it's also very impressive to see how good the offense from Vienna manages to shatter the blockers of Lute. It's really something to. It's obvious they have been training on this because the jammers are also very good at seeing where the offense comes from. And number 15 for Vienna for a cutting the track penalty off to the penalty box.
Yep. But we have Encasteurs with their blocker released from the penalty box, so it's a full pack on track, and Betty Boom is struggling to make their way through the pack, and the defense from Lute is very strong, and Betty Boom is forced to cause that jam.
Yes.
So that's 12 minutes left to go in the game. 5 more points for Vienna, taking them to 86 points, and Lute on 19. Again, it's just Vienna are taking the advantage.
Yes, and also, but Lute with a very strong defense, making sure that the score does not become more than this.
They are holding them down. They're trying, because, 30-point jam in the first 5 minutes. That jam with a penalty, with a power jam, was still only 5 points.
Most of those jams, most of those points were scored by the number 23 Moloko Violet, who is now off to the penalty box. So we might have a lead indeed for Paris. Buzz Leclerc is now skating around the track,
completing that first initial pass, back in the pack on scoring pass now. Hit to the outside, but dodges to the inside, keeps on her toe stops.
Multiplayer block there called for one of the players from Vienna.
And that frees up Buzz Leclerc to complete that 5-point scoring pass.
And then we have number 23, Moloko Violet, again on the track. Very quick, very agile, and some jammer-on-jammer action. This jammer has it all.
But that was shock no late from Uncastros, who was just phenomenal, one-on-one blocking up the front of the pack. But as you say, jammer-on-jammer action, and just had enough. Let's not do that.
Number 23, Moloko Violet, there with some jammer-on-jammer action, making the Paris jammer to call off that jam. Nonetheless, they did score 9-0 points in that last jam. So
I think that's the highest scoring jam we've seen for Lute so far this game. So that's great momentum.
Yeah, and making the advantage of the power jam count.
Yeah. And that's. Oh, I mean, that is just such dynamic walling. The pack's having to move from side to side so quickly to hold back the jammers.
We have 0-9 jamming for Lute, and she's also lead. That is Belhara.
And Belhara is approaching the pack for a scoring pass, but there's been a star pass by Vienna, so it is now always Ultra, the pivot, who is now the jammer. Belhara hit out to the outside on turn 4 and is forced to call the jam. As always, Ultra was approaching. She saw the danger, called the jam.
Yeah, the point differential in this game might not give it away, but Vienna is not, or Paris does not always lose the lead. They have quite a lot of lead. They just they can't seem to make the most of their lead, and Vienna seems to be master in this. Again, 2 or 3 30-point jams. It's actually all of their points up to this point.
Very much so. I mean, 3 points would be not what Lute were looking for. They would have been looking for multiple scoring passes, but Vienna just closed that down. And it is Vienna who have lead, and it is Honey Badger who is jamming for Vienna.
And we have Sabotage in close pursuit, trying to speed up to the pack, but the pack is going quite fast.
Yeah. Pack are trying to save their points, trying to get Honey Badger that point, but is forced to call off the jam. But Vienna do pick up
2 points.
Better eyesight than me on the jam.
I'm wearing my glasses.
So, although you've joined this game, we keep talking about 30-point jams. This first few minutes has been just 3 and 5 and 2.
Just the same as in the beginning of this game, really. So I think the two teams are quite evenly matched. But we'll see how this turns out. We still have 7 minutes on the clock for this jam and for this period, and we have number 23 again with the lead for Vienna.
But we have a star pass by Lute, and it is now
Dr. Cali Collision, or Cali Collision. That will probably be it.
And again, that defense, that star pass from Lute forced that call off with only 4 points for Vienna. So it's 92 points now, playing 31. 7 minutes left in this first half. I mean, we say the teams are equally matched. I mean, they are quite equally matched in terms of coming into this tournament. WFTDA ranking, Lute at 235, and Vienna ranked currently 268. And Flat Track Stats was predicting that Lute will come away with a win.
Okay.
So I think we can already, in game 1 of this tournament, throw the stats book out the window.
But we can also say that in Derby, we have a timeout.
We have a timeout as an
timeout.
official review.
Ah, okay.
So we have an official review, but it's also being indicated as a timeout.
Yes. And
So teams can choose to do that, and with probably 7 minutes left in the half, if you know, that's a reasonable thing if you want to save your timeouts for later in the game.
it is something that is done by the Paris team. They are coached by a Dark Pistol and Monkey Business. They are Belgian. They are based in Belgium, but they are both also have. Well, Dark Pistol has lived in Paris, so I guess she kind of knows the players. So they do have like an intern coach or an internship for coaching this weekend.
And we've just had a scoreboard alteration. This is now a timeout, not an official review.
Okay.
So that's how the team have taken that minute, just to regroup,
Yes.
re-strategize, maybe check your skate wheels.
Very enthusiastic start there by the pivot from Paris, from Lute, les Encastreuses.
So everyone's back in place and the game is underway again.
We have jamming is Buzz Leclerc and Betty Boom. We have been both seen those jammers in action before. And beautiful offense there played by number 82 from Vienna, and manages to get a clear path for her jammer. Beautifully done.
Yeah. But Buzz Leclerc is also out of the pack, and it is Lute who is speeding up, trying to make it as difficult as possible for the jammers to get through. But Betty Boom sees the danger, calls the jam, but has managed to pick up 4 points rather, for Vienna. But no, we're having lots of changes. It is now 3 points for Vienna in that jam, and Lute didn't pick up any. So 31 now playing 95, 6 minutes left in this half.
Jamming for Paris is 09 Belhara and 810 Honey Badger for Vienna. No, yeah.
Yeah.
The colors are really confusing for me.
But it is Lute and Belhara who have picked up lead jammer, and Belhara is now approaching the pack on a scoring pass, finding little opposition from Vienna, sails through. Vienna take that opportunity to have a star stash. So Honey Badger is still the jammer and approaching the pack. Both jammers jumped at that pack.
Yes.
Wow, that was commitment from both jammers.
There must have been a hole, because jammers tend to go for that.
So that was 5 points for Lute in that last jam.
Quite a full penalty box as well. So we have 2 blockers in the box for Lute and 1 for Vienna. This has been quite a penalty-heavy game already, so it's not something we tend to lose. And it's an official review
called by Vienna.
Yes.
So while we're in this official review, time to quickly run through the rosters.
Yes.
So if you'd like to run through the Lute roster.
Yes, so we have 10 Armadillo, 179 Sneaky Freak, 09 Belhara, 1001 Sabotage, 107 Peppermint, 117 Caputra, 191 Frangipane, 201 Perfidie, 21 Sève de Pain, 310 Trash de Profonde, 33 Catabase de Popopop, 440 Buzz Leclerc, 490 Baron Sabat, 5 Vera Syruptor, I'm sorry, 59 Grizzlies, 701 Captilage Voncha, 90 Dory, 911 Badars, and 921 Shock No Late.
And playing for Vienna today, we have 00 Betty Boom, 013 Resident Evil, 026 Knockout Nora, 111 Always Ultra, 14 Legendary, 15 Merry Demolition, 23 Moloko Violet, 28 Italian Stallion, 33 Dr. Cali Collision, 34 Pepper Jules, 431 Syntax, 5895 Killit Manjaro, 611 Sabotage, 616 Vanderstorm, 810 Honey Badger, 82 November Pain, 87 Bitch Buchanan, and 91 Spin the Lottle.
Yes, and I have now gotten the answer from Sparks. I don't know what the official review was about, but the official review, the no call stands, and therefore Vienna will lose their official review.
Thank you for that update. So we're ready to get underway again, and the pack have gone for a pivot line start. First time we've seen that in the game today.
There has been a little bit of battle for the pivot line, but mainly nothing like today, like now. The really start with a lot of space, and it's something that number 23 is obviously very good at. She makes a very quick lead there.
Moloko Violet using speed to get out of the front of that pack and outpace the front Lutece blocker.
Yes. Taking a whip from her blockers, making sure that she has even more speed to get through the pack.
But sees the danger from Armadillo for Lutece and calls the jam, but 4 more points for Vienna. Even though it's just been these few points per jam, it is Vienna that is picking up most of these 4 points and 3 points.
Yes.
And just slowly creeping that lead out. They're now 63 points ahead of Lutece, and we've got just under 4 minutes left to go in this half.
They will probably go into the 100s maybe in the next jam or the jam after
soon.
that. Very soon. They only need the 1 point for it.
So we have Sabotage jamming for Lutece up against 0-0 Betty Boom for Vienna.
And a lead for Lutece. A bit of a fall there in the pack, but also the jammer Betty Boom got through.
Vienna having their pivot sent to the penalty box. Betty Boom had no choice but to complete that initial pass. And as they approach the pack, the jam is called.
Beautiful offense there by Sèvres Depin from Lutece, making sure that her jammer got a chance to pick up all the points. And we'll start the next jam with 2 pivots in the box.
But that's 4 points for Lutece. You see, announcer's curse. That's what happened. You talked about the 100 points, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, makes me look like a bad.
No, announcer's curse is a real thing. So we're underway again, and it is number 440, Buzz Leclerc for Lutece, jamming up against, can't see the number,
810, that is Honey Badger.
Yeah. Who has lead and is approaching the pack on that scoring pass. Some fantastic core strength, keeping in the track on that corner too, completing that scoring pass. 5 points picked up for Vienna, taking them over the 100.
And Vienna has some awesome job, does an awesome defensive job. As you could see, there was only 1 blocker on the track. That was their captain, 8-2. But she manages to recycle the jammer quite a lot. But in the end, she got through. And now 810 did call off the jam because 440 was approaching.
I have footwork. Sort of derby crush now on Honey Badger after that. That was incredible footwork on turn 3, just staying within bounds. How they defied the laws of physics, I'm not entirely sure.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
But 11 points for Vienna, taking them to 110, now playing 40 for Les Encastreurs.
Wow, beautiful offense and defense there done by the Paris players, making sure their jammer had lead. We have jamming 09 Belhara, and we still have number 23 Molotov Violet in the pack, which is not one of her.
Hello.
I still hear you. I'm still hearing you. Okay.
We're just having a technical problem for 1 moment. I can't hear anything.
I can hear you. Yeah. So we have a little bit of a technical problem, but I will walk you through this. for the next jam, 5-0 points were scored in favor of Lute, the team from Paris, playing in orange. And then we now have, again, a new jam. It might be the last jam of this first period. We'll see what happens. Wow, beautiful footwork there by Betty Boom for Vienna. Quick lead there, taken by the outside line. But in close pursuit is the jammer for Paris, 0-1 Armadillo.
And I'm back.
Right in time to talk us about intermission.
So yes, we have a 15-minute intermission, but that was a first half too.
Yes.
It was great to watch them, you know, big exciting jams, but just really strong defense work from both teams. I mean, that's still not a very particularly high scoring game for 30 minutes of play, and I think particularly in the last sort of 5 minutes, Lute have started coming back. They're starting to work out how to lock down those Vienna jammers. What did you think?
I think the game is a very interesting game to watch, and I think Vienna is winning because of their offense. Their offense is really strong. They managed to really scatter the other blockers far more than the other team seems to be able to do so. And I think just now that Lute is finding a way to respond to that offense, and that's why they got a couple of leads in at the end of the first half. And maybe we'll see what happens in the second half. We've seen bigger lead differences that can still lead to a win. So
absolutely, it's not in the bag yet for Vienna. And if you come back in about 13 minutes, we'll be able to see what happens. I've been Dork Mistress.
I've been Knickmops.
See you later. And welcome back to Skater Round 2 in Namur, Belgium, hosted by Namur Roller Girls. We are halfway through the first game of our 7-game tournament. It is Lute's Destroyers playing Vienna Roller Derby. First half, Lute picking up 45 points, Vienna with 110. I'm Dork Mistress.
I'm Knickmops.
And how has that first half been for you, Knickmops?
The first half was kind of unexpected. We talked about this in halftime as well. That Flat Track Stats pointed out that it would be a victory for the girls from Paris, but for now it looks in favor of of the girls from Vienna.
Vienna very much in control of this game. We've had some big jams, but we're going back to the track as we are about to get underway for the second half. But yes, Vienna very much in control of this game, but this has been a game of defense. Both teams, when they have lead, in the second half of that first half, if you get what I mean, they haven't been able to rack up big jams. It's been 4 points here, 5 points there, and that's all been down to strong defense from both teams.
And for a minute there, I thought we were at champs because we have two jammers lining up for Lute. So
yes.
That was a bit of a confusing start. I don't think that's how it's supposed to go.
So the idea is that the other team jammer doesn't know which jammer they're going to have to face, so they can't mentally prepare. It's a bit of confusion, misdirection.
Yeah, but it did kind of work because they did pick up lead, and Molotov Violet is now on her way to the pack. So we have a call off by 0-1 Armadillo jamming for Lute. 4-0 in that final jam in favor of Lute.
And those first few jams after the start of the game or after halftime are really important in terms of building momentum. So it's great for Lute to come out and score first in this second half.
We have jamming on the jammer line 8-1-0 against for blue, and I can't see the number of the other player, but we have lead for Vienna. But in close pursuit we have 0-9 Baldassar.
Yes, it's Honey Badger jamming for Vienna on a scoring pass. Just sees the danger coming from Belhara, takes that initial hit off the Lute blockers and then thinks, no, I'm going to call the jam, I can't score more points.
Yes.
But does pick up 2 important points for Vienna. So both teams having picked up almost equal scores in these first couple of minutes.
We now have on the jammer line 440 Buzz de Claire and 004 Vienna. That is Betty Boom. We've both seen those jammers before. They're quite agile and strong, and some beautiful one-on-one blocking there by the pivot from Lute, which is 1991 Frangipane.
But it is Lute who have picked up lead, and it is number 440 Buzz Leclerc who is jamming for Lute.
Again, some beautiful offense there, strongly done, but not strong enough for the blockers of Lute for now, because they managed to turn around, and we still have no initial pass for the blue team.
Now Betty Boo announces curse in play, now leaves the pack. But it is Frangipane who is having an incredible jam. I think if just Frangipane was on the track, we still would have had Betty Boo held back for that length of time. Great work there, and that shows in the points with Lute picking up 9 points in that jam, taking them to 58, and Vienna on 112 with 27 minutes left in this game. Still everything to play for. I mean, that's Lute coming back out of half-time with some real momentum and fire.
Yes, and we now have a bit of a quicker rotation for the jammers for Vienna, because again we see number 23 Molotov Violet and 100 for Sabotage. So they have a bigger jammer rotation going on in for the girls from Paris than the girls from Vienna, and number Molotov Violet takes the lead.
Yep. So the inside line was cleared for them by their blockers, and that led them through for lead. Now on a scoring pass, but there's some great flexible dynamic walling from Lute, holding back Molotov Violet, but skips to the outside, completes 5-point scoring pass, while we are on that power jam with Sabotage in the penalty box for Lute.
The offense tries to make way, and it is indeed pretty quickly to again destroy the walls of Lute, who tried to skate out of it, but we're not quite quick enough for that offense.
It was great timing on that offense, and that's led to that 5 points from Molotov Violet, who now just had that inside cleared again. It's great offense from Vienna, through for 15 points now.
And Always Ultra did play some offense and defense. She's been playing pivot quite a lot, and has already taken the star as well. Now playing offense for her jammer, number 23, who's quite a little bit struggling to get through that final scoring pass, but did again pick up a huge amount of points. I think 18 in total, so 18 points in total to 0 for Vienna. And it's always, well, I'm going to say always, but it's a lot of the times it is Molotov Violet who manages to get like the most out of those jams. If she picks up lead, she will take it further than just a 4-0. She will high up and put more on the board.
But I think that's also because the offense from Vienna is tied into how Moloko works, and it's been great timing on both sides that's seen that score. Honey Badger jamming for Vienna and is out for lead. And Lute still having to push out front, but it was turn 2 before they were able to get out, and it is Armadillo for Lute.
Number 14 for Vienna off to the penalty box. That's legendary for a forearms penalty, and then the jam is called off.
So if you're watching the scoreboard, it does come up as Texas Danger when Armadillo, but the sheets that we have and the number on the back says to us that Lute's Armadillo is jamming. So if you see Texas Danger, it's just some kind of, mix-up error.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. We all like changing our names and numbers now and then.
That happens. So we're looking at a score for 58 to 134 in favor of Vienna roller derby. Quick lead there, and in quick pursuit the jammer for Lute. So we have jamming 0-0 Betty Boom, and And Belhara also.
Ooh, and a big sprawl right at the end of that jam, but that is a late hit penalty that has been assessed. So Belhara will start the next jam in the penalty box, leaving a power jam for Vienna. But it's 3 points picked up by Lute. 61 points, now playing 134. So Lute have picked up nearly 20 points in this first 7 minutes of the game and really holding Vienna back. So starting to close that gap down. Let's see what they can do in the next 23 minutes.
They didn't score any points, but they still have a lot, and they bleeded so many blockers. So we have 3 blockers in the box for Lute, 1 jammer in the box for Vienna. So it's, no, I'm sorry, I'm saying this backwards. So 2 blockers in the box for Vienna and 1 jammer in the box for Lute. So it was quite a struggle for Moloko Violet to get that lead.
It took nearly 30 seconds to get lead, which is one of the longest we've seen in the game so far.
And we have, again, a full blocker number for the girls from Vienna, or roller derby Vienna. And then we have 1 blocker in the box for Lute.
But Belhara is out of the penalty box and completed the initial pass, about to approach for the scoring pass, and Vienna see the danger, call the jam. 5 points for Vienna, taking them to 139. Momentum is everything in roller derby, and so that couple of jams now starting to move Vienna's way. And we have an official review being called by Lute.
I say I had a little bit of the curse again, because I was saying that Moloko Violet manages to get always those most points, and now with a power start, I'm going to say only, but I saw the struggle, so it's not only, but only 5-0 points scored for Vienna in that last jam.
Yeah,
you would have expected her to score more.
Yeah. But I think that's a sign of how strong the defense has been by Lute.
Yes,
throughout this game, and I think that's. Both teams have worked so hard. The defense has been so strong on both sides. It's just those times when Vienna has been able to do multiple scoring passes, or just that consistent getting lead and getting 1 pass.
Yes. And it's also it's really important. Their offense is really, really good, but it's so important not to get stuck in that penalty box, because they were starting in such a down. They were starting with only 1 blocker on the track. That's such a loss against a full wall of the other team.
Just while we're in the official review, chance to remind you what the next game is going to be. I mean, obviously this game is the best so far in the tournament, but at 12:30 today Central European time, and that is, I can never do this the right way around, 11:30 a.m. in the UK. It is Namur Roller Girls up against Glasgow Roller Derby. So I'm sure there will be some big viewing parties happening in Scotland, and that will be at 12:30/11:30. Then at 3 o'clock we have Lute again against Glasgow. So Glasgow are going to be nice and warm from their first game. And so that's 3 p.m. Central European time, and that is 2 p.m. UK time. And then at 5 o'clock we have a Namur versus Vienna. So that is a full day. Every team will have played, 2 of the 3 other teams by the end of the day. Long day for the teams, but not long for us. Get comfy, sat on the sofa with a nice cup of tea and some biscuits.
Yeah, the weather outside is really, really terrible. I saw it when I drove over here. I could barely see anything. Why would you go outside?
Yeah.
When you can watch roller derby
and hear us all day?
Yeah.
And brought to you by the fabulous Namur Roller Girls as part of the Skate Around 2 tournament. And we are really grateful to the production team who've done a fantastic job, got this up and running. Very hard to do this for just 2 days and just volunteers, so we're grateful for everything that they've done. And we'll find out the result of the official review in a moment, but just to say that we're about to get underway again. So quick reminder, 61 points for Lute, 139 for Vienna, 21 minutes 40 seconds left in this game.
And on the track for the next jam, we have 8-1-0 for Vienna.
Honey Badger up against Buzz Leclerc for Lute.
Yes.
Both jammers having a tough time. Honey Badger hit out and recycled back to the jam line. But both jammers having to push through. But it is Honey Badger who manages to make that most physical, explosive push through and pick up lead jammer.
it was quite a struggle there, and now it is a bit of a race to stay in front of the offense. Beautiful block there by number 21, and strong defensive work there.
But it's Mary Demolition for Vienna, who's gone to the penalty box for a multiplayer block, which means that Vienna now have 2 blockers in the box, one standing up though, and the results of the official review is that Vienna asked for the penalty for aerial contact to the jammer to be dismissed, but the no call stands and they lost their official review. Thank you very much to our social media guru, Nasty Moves. So 2 points for Vienna in that last jam.
Betty Boom against, for now, I don't know, on the jammer line.
It is 1001, who is Sabotage.
Yes, and she manages to score lead, to get that lead. Quick pursuit, Betty Boom with a stash. So it's Sabotage actually against Betty Boom.
And both jammers approaching the pack for that scoring pass. And there is a high block penalty called at the end on number 82 for Vienna, November Payne. And it is Vienna who sneaked 2 points. So did Lutece at the end of that jam. Great work from both jammers.
Yes.
And I think that particularly from both jammers trying to get those points in, and what was quite a split up and sort of disparate pack. I think that was really good tactics from both of them.
It's a good offensive move to just try to keep the pack as scattered as possible. Oh, quick lead by number 23, Moloko Violet. She did have like a big hit in the end, but manages to stay in bounds. The jammer for Lute still working on her her initial pass with the star in hand, and Moloko Violet like a knife through butter.
And we have got a star pass from Lutece, so the jammer is now Frangipan, but badass there with the really big hit on that apex. Real commitment to trying to hold back that blocker.
And I have jammer and blocker NV for number 82 and Moloko Violet. Those two are a machine. The offense from number 82 and then the jamming from Moloko Violet really makes it's like it's beautiful to watch. I'm hoping you can see it at home as well, that if those two are in the pack, it's always easier for the jammer for Vienna to get through.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm really enjoying this game. We're seeing such sort of commitment, but also skill and footwork. I mean, Honey Badger's ability to stay on the track has astonished me so far. And oh wow, look at that. Beautiful from Belhara.
Well-deserved lead for Belhara.
I think she was on just 2 wheels at one point.
And Honey Badger with star in hand, now on her helmet, going around to the pack. And we have a scoring pass for number 09, Belhara. She calls off the jam when she sees Honey Badger approaching. Did manage to score the 3 points to 0 for Vienna. So 66 on the board for Lutece and 152 for Vienna.
Less than 18 minutes left in this game. Well, if this is how it kicks off, it's going to be a fantastic weekend of roller derby. I'm really excited already.
What I really like about Skaterant is that most of the teams never play each other because they come from so far. So you never know what's going to happen.
So Glasgow, who are actually the longest established team in this tournament, have not played any of the teams here. So that will be really exciting to see how they rank. But I think that Lutece and Vienna have met, but it was 3 years ago.
You don't know anything about 3 years ago. Anything could have happened. We have a lead for Buzz Leclerc for Lutece, and Betty Boom with the star in hand, waiting for her offense. Ooh, beautiful star pass there to the pivot, who came out of the penalty box and kind of got them there unexpected. That's 4-3-1 Syntax now jamming.
Who has a massive smile on her face.
She was really happy about that star pass. And so were we.
Yes, it was a thing of beauty. But Syntax is now stuck in the pack on turn 2. Just as Buzz Leclerc is hit out to the outside and recycled all the way back to the pivot line.
And they did try to recycle her all the way back, but she really knew who hit her out, and she manages to get only 2 to 1 blocker in front. So that's beautiful. I really like it when jammers play smart.
But it is Syntax who has picked up a cut track penalty, so it is now a power jam to Lute and Buzz Leclerc, who is skating on their 3rd scoring pass, just 1 blocker out ahead.
And now we see that it was a good call not to call off the jam when the pivot now jammer was in the pack, because she did. Now we have a power jam in favor of Lute.
But the offense from Lute, Vienna were unable to build a wall.
And it was beautifully done. 19 to 4 points in that last jam. 19 points for Lute, 4 points for Vienna, which puts us at 85 for Lute and 156 for Vienna.
That was the highest scoring jam I think we've seen for Lute this game.
And we now have a power start in favor of Lute, with the jammer Syntax in the box now, with the star in hand. Number 23, Moloko Violet, as a pivot, was doing one-on-one, but did I think a direction.
Did a bad thing.
It did a bad thing. Off to the box, they said. Sabotage now in lead for Lute, and Syntax back in the pack, jamming away for her team, but is being recycled to the back of the pack, and Sabotage manages to get another scoring pass with the now 5 points on the board.
And the pack is at the apex between turns 1 and 2, and again it's Vienna unable to build that wall, and it is the offense of Lute that is breaking them up. It's not letting them form at all.
It's also the difficulty for the switch from offense to defense, because they don't seem to be ready when the jammer is coming. But we did have, again, an extremely smart and quick start pass for the pivot who came out of the box, and Moloko Violet did have a star on her helmet at the end of that jam.
And that caused that jam to be called, but it is now 14 points for Lute, 99 points now playing 156. So narrowing that gap, because that was a big jam. Two big jams in a row for Lute. And we have a timeout called by Vienna.
I guess we know why.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I was a bench coach, I would probably be calling a timeout about that.
Same. I would probably ask one as a player too. So we have 99 points on the board for Lute, so they're very close to that 100. I'm not going to say next gem or anything. And Vienna is now at 156 still, just the same as the last jam. We still have 13 minutes to go, and we have a point differential of about 60 points. I'm not good at math, so I do like an approximate.
So if you are enjoying this live stream, you want to give us any feedback, you think that we're fabulous, you know, that's the kind of feedback we appreciate. You can check out progress on the tournament all weekend on Twitter, which at SAround2, which is shortening of Skate Around 2, and the hashtag is hashtag SKAR2. Come and tell us what you think of the weekend. So that timeout has come to an end. So Vienna coming back on track, clearly pumped from the volume.
The jammers are still looking forward to this jam. They were smiling at each other, so I guess they kind of know what the other one is doing. The teams kind of know each other now, know what to expect.
Yep.
So it's hard work for the jammers to get those points on the board. We have 09 for Lute and 23 for Vienna jamming.
So that's Belhara up against Moloko Violet.
Quick lead there by Belhara.
Oh, but that was fantastic defense from Vienna with that last second hit out and a huge recycle almost all the way back to the start.
So we did have like a pass for Belhara, but she was kicked out right in the end, and then recycled all the way back. But she's still now in the front of the pack, and Moloko Violet is struggling with that defense from Lutes.
Yes. And we've not seen that from Moloko Violet so far this game. And as I say that, Moloko clears the pack, just as Belhara is actually sent to the penalty box for a cut penalty.
And so they lose their lead status.
Yes, and it is a 2-minute jam with a power jam to Vienna for the next 30 seconds. Moloko Violet taking the most of that, pushing through on the inside to pick up 5 points. 5 points. I shouldn't look at the scoreboard.
Numbers and points, how difficult can it be? So a beautiful offense there done by Vienna, clearing the entire inside line. Beautiful path there done for Moloko Violet, who is kind of like saying, well, you did score a couple of points in the last jams, but this is how we do it.
Yep.
In Vienna, beautiful footwork there on the outside line.
And that was just that Lute did not close down that outside line. They left a gap, and you cannot afford to do that.
They saw the offense coming from the inside line, but they did not cover the outside.
No.
All the lines should be covered.
Yep. So we have Belhara out of the penalty box and coming to the pack for a scoring pass, attempts an apex jump and is hit out just as Moloko Violet completes their 4th scoring pass for Vienna. 19 points now in this jam.
The offense for Lutes doing their job, making sure the wall does not recycle, but some beautiful one-on-one work there in the end. Still, Lutes manages to score 3 points, but for Vienna it's a 22-point jam. We're now all in the 3 digits. 104 for Lutes, 178 for Vienna.
And I think that jam is really crucial. Lutes were picking up some momentum and closing down that gap, and Vienna have just gone, no, it's not good enough.
Yeah. They did really make the most of that timeout they took, and they did really come out of that one with fire.
And
but the fire is not out in Lutes. We still are looking for our lead jammer in this jam.
And it's Frangipan again with that massive hit on Honey Badger, who just attempted to start. Looked like he was attempting a star pass, but I'm imagining things. So Frangipan again, so far my favourite blocker of this game, but it hasn't held back Honey Badger, who's approaching the pack for that scoring pass.
And the pack is again bleeding blockers off to the box. 2 blockers in the box for Lutes, and Honey Badger lead, calls off the jam, and did score the 4 points for this jam.
Yeah. And what we've seen is that pack speed has been a really important tactic to try and make it as easy as possible for the jammers to get through. If you're going fast and you're not entirely sure where the rest of your blockers are, before you know, the jam has gone by. And we've seen that a number of times in this game, and I think that was very true there.
Yes.
But it's that timing of Vienna to split that pack open with speed to let Honey Badger through was great timing.
Yeah, and the score does not really reflect the hard work from the blockers and the jammers for me, because I think, especially now at this point of the game where they kind of know each other, the jammers are having a more and more difficult time because the blockers know what to do to hold that jammer down. Yeah. So we have slower leads than we had in the beginning.
So it's Buzz Leclerc for Lutes up against Betty Boom for Vienna. And both jammers having a tough time of it, even
cutting
with
the track penalty for Betty Boom.
For Buzz Leclerc.
Buzz Leclerc, sorry.
That's okay. So,
but again, also a penalty. No, that was confusing. A recycling back for Betty Boom. Still no lead status. So hardcore, good job for the defense there of Lutes, because this is a power jam.
Yes, and Betty Boom not able to get that much help on track because Vienna have 2 blockers in the box, whereas Lutes have a full pack, but Betty Boom makes it through. Lead jammer for Vienna, but that took nearly a minute.
And it was like also like closing the line on the inside line, really struggling there to get that past. Buzz Leclerc has been back on the track, has been hit out. She's still working on her initial pass.
But it's Betty Boom who is lead and is recycled back to turn 3 just as Buzz Leclerc makes it out and completes their initial pass.
Offense on the inside line. Betty Boom takes and calls off. Beautiful job.
That was textbook. That's what you want to see. When you see a YouTube clip of how to do it, that is how you do it.
Yeah. Record it, play it back, make sure that you remember it.
So that was 4 points for Vienna, taking them to 186. 102 for Lute. Now, less than 8 minutes left in this game. And the score doesn't reflect the excitement.
No. And for me, it was also like the patience the jammer had to just wait for the offense to clear that line and not just push, and then making like a big mess of it.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
did. It was beautifully done. Great job there. And lead for Lutece because she pushes the two blockers of Vienna to the out of the pack, like an out of play situation, and Moloko Violet is struggling to get past those three blockers of Lutece.
And Sabotage now approaching the pack for a second scoring pass. Moloko Violet, as you say, Nick Mops, still in the pack but completes a star pass. It is now Syntax who is lead jammer for Vienna, but Sabotage has completed that second scoring pass. Just as Syntax now in the pack, able to score points. Sabotage running this jam long, obviously thinking that they can score more points.
It's just like last time where they did not call off that jam. It's also two blockers only for Vienna, so why not try to make the most of it?
Absolutely, run that jam long while you still have the pack advantage, because Syntax is still in the pack, facing full pack from Lutece.
Doing some one-on-one jamming, blocking there, but her main job is to get through the pack, but she is struggling against that really strong Lutece defense. We have a fall situation and another blocker to the box for Vienna.
So just as Vienna gets another blocker back on track, another one goes into the box, but they are now, and it's just happened again, 23 going to the box. So Vienna still with two blockers on track, Lutece with a full pack, Syntax still stuck at the back, Sabotage scoring points.
Yes.
And that was a big jam for Lutece. Castor picking up 19 points in that jam, but Vienna picking up 4. 121 points now, playing 190. 5 minutes 20 left in this game. That was fun.
I like it when teams don't give up.
And that was taking the most of that opportunity. Yes. If you have got, two blockers against you, run that jam long, rack the points up.
Points for that strategical choice there. And we have a quick lead now for Honey Badger from Vienna. Belhara still just passes the last blocker and is next to in close pursuit.
Yep.
Honey Badger working on that scoring pass.
But Belhara actually completes her first scoring pass ahead of Honey Badger. So Honey Badger says, I'm not going to let a second pass. Oh, and a penalty was called before Honey Badger could call the jam off. So this is now a 2-minute jam. And it is a power jam to Lutece. Belhara just taken to the floor in the pack.
And then a lot of messy things happened and the offense just kind of got in the way. And she tried to pass, but she didn't have the star on her helmet, so no points were scored. That's going to be a lot of work for the ref. Moloko Violet again with a direction penalty. I think it's her third one or fourth one when she blocks off to the box. We had a successful star pass to the pivot of
Lutece. Baron Sabat is now jamming. Honey Badger out of the box completes a scoring pass for 4 points, but Baron Sabat also clears the pack. This is a 2-minute jam, so neither can call it off. 30 seconds to go. It's just who can rack up the most points. Both teams have got blockers in the bin, and that shows us Honey Badger makes it through easily for 4 points. but so does Baron Sabat. So it is now just essentially an endurance race.
Yes. Who can stay calm and strong the longest?
Honey Badger getting through the pack there with ease. No real defense to face. Baron Sabat comes into the pack backwards. And that jam comes to an end. And I think both those jammers will be very happy that that whistle went. But it is Lute who pick up the points. 15 points in that jam. 12 for Vienna.
A lot of points scored, but it was not my favorite gem.
No.
It was a lot of crazy excitement, and I don't know where and what to do. So I'm hoping the next one will be calmer and more decisive as they have been. It's got timeout called by Vienna, probably to calm it down.
Yeah.
It was not what we were used to of these two teams. Like they actually play a pretty calm, nice game. But this one was with a lot of penalties and a lot of falling and a lot of shouting and
And the thing is, both teams have got another game today, so they need to make sure that they don't just spend all their energy and go crazy. They've got to pace themselves over this weekend. So it's, as you say, a chance to just calm down and go, okay. Right, okay, let's finish this game. I mean, Vienna want to keep their head, want to keep control, and to maximise that points differential because it will have an impact on WFTDA rankings. So they've come in as the under-ranked team, as the lower-ranked team, so they will want to maximise that points differential. So they will want to run, the next couple of jams or however many jams we have as long as possible. Whereas Lute will want to do the same. They'll want to close that gap, minimise the points differential. So they can't give up.
They can't, and they didn't.
No.
The last jam was a little bit messy, but everything before that was calm, decisive, beautiful roller derby. We still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. We're looking at 136 points for Lute and 202 points for Vienna. Hopefully, everybody has calmed down. And now we can look at those last jams of this game. Jamming now on in orange for Lute is 01 Armadillo. And I can't see the other ones. Back number, I think it's Betty Boom.
It is Betty Boom.
Yes. I'm kind of getting to know the players.
By the end of the weekend, you'll be able to just get them off.
Yes, to click, and we know them all. Hopefully not too much color changes, because I will remind you that these teams play in each other's colors. So for me, it has been confusing from start till now.
So we are just still in an official timeout at the moment. So we're just making sure that we've got everything marked down and correct. A lot went on in that last jam, but the official timeout is over and the game is about to get underway again.
Also, for the officials, it will be a long weekend, so they should also try to keep their calm, make sure they know what they're doing, and just be as calm and decisive as possible.
And we're really grateful to all the officials, both skating and non-skating, and the volunteers and crew that are making this weekend happen.
Yes. We saw some offense work there done by Vienna, but it was a clockwise, so they have a blocker in the penalty box, and it's 82. And we have a lead for Texas Danger. That
Armadillo.
Is Armadillo. As if the world was not confusing enough. Beautiful there, done. Vienna did not see that jammer coming. They were working on that star pass, which is now being completed to 616. But Texas Danger, or Armadillo, got that scoring pass with no effort at all.
And you can see there Lute speeding up the pack and breaking apart the Vienna wall, again with that timing to get Armadillo through. But both teams have scored points, and you can see both teams, Lute with lead, wanting to run it long again to try and minimise that points differential. They think Armadillo can score more points, and that is the case, but we have a timeout called by Lute. So we just
a quick timeout there.
So we have 5 points for Vienna in that jam and 11 for Lute. And so even though it's a timeout, Vienna both teams have lined up. So, but just a reminder that, and also to let you know, at the end of this game, we will be having a post-game interview.
Yes.
So don't switch off as soon as the whistle goes. I believe it's going to be Vienna.
Yes.
And so we will be having an interview. So we will talk and then we'll go straight into the interview. And then at 12:30, it is going to be Namur Roller Girls up against Glasgow Roller Derby. I'm really excited to see that. Namur coming in as the highest ranked team in the tournament, and Glasgow coming in ranked 279 at the moment in the WFTDA. But Glasgow are a team that you cannot trust the rankings. They bring it. So this is going to be a firecracker of a game.
I played them 2 years ago, and I remember they had some really fierce jammers. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those jammers again. And Namur, I play them quite a lot, so I know the girls, so I know how they play. So I'm really looking forward to see those two teams clash and fight it out here on the track here in Namur.
In about 30 minutes. So, but we have 1 minute 18 seconds left in this game, and we have number 440 for Lute and the Buzz Leclerc.
And Moloko Violet again on with the jammer Pantheon, ready to get the works on. But we have a lead for Buzz Leclerc, quick lead as well, and the jammer for Vienna has been recycled.
But is out of the pack. Buzz Leclerc isn't a showy jammer, but is incredibly effective.
Yes.
And, you know, doesn't do the big apex jumps or spins, but gets through, does the job, gets the points. But both teams now with scoring jammers.
Yes. And I'm thinking that Lute will probably want to clear out the penalty box, because they do have two blockers in there, and they would probably want to bring their A game for the jam that comes. But it was not. Now we have a blocker for Vienna in the box, two blockers in for Lute, and then we have another timeout called by Lute, probably to calm everyone down.
And I think to focus on this points differential, because WFTDA rankings are so important in terms of who you get to play, what competitions you get invited to. And so for Lute, it is absolutely vital that they keep that differential as small as possible, because they are higher ranked than Vienna at the moment. So that's what they're doing here. They're just trying to make sure that they get lead and that they can run the jam long as they did there. 8 points to Lute, 4 to Vienna in that jam. So it doesn't matter how many points overall are in that jam, just that Lute need to get more.
We all know how important that ranking is, and we all know that when we play, we want to make sure that we get the maximum effort out of that WFTDA game. So all the games, I think, will be sanctioned this weekend.
Yes.
Yes. So a lot is at stake.
Yep.
For Vienna, of course, this is a nice and good, maybe a little bit unexpected.
According to the ranking.
According to the ranking, but maybe they were like, meh, easy breezy, I don't know.
So
you'll hear about that in the interview.
And what sounds strange is that this is the start of the 2019 season, because the season officially ended with championships 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
In New Orleans. And so this is the start of the 2019 season for these teams.
Quick lead for Honey Badger. Sabotage still in the pack, working on her initial pass. Some beautiful 2-on-2 blocking there done by Vienna. And the cover goes off for Sabotage, and we have a scoring pass for Honey Badger, but she is struggling with that very beautiful defense there by Lute. Strong blockers, did manage to score the 5 points there, and Lute has one blocker in the box.
So Lute are very strong in a 3-wall. Both teams are strong, but I think Lute in a 3-wall can be more dangerous. But again, didn't lock down that outside line, and that let the Vienna jammer through.
The lines are, I always say, it's like jammers get another 20 centimeters of that jammer, of the line, because how they get to manage to get there when everything you own is over the line, it's incredible. Honey Badger again for a scoring pass, and we have Dory now with the cover in hand. We have a star pass, and she is going to the scoring pass.
Yes, so the period clock has now ended. So with Honey Badger calling that jam off, that has created the unofficial final score. So the game has ended. 155 points to the Test Destroyers, 228 points to Vienna Roller Derby. Just waiting for that to be finalised.
Yes, that's about 70 points, 72 points to be exact, points differential. Do you want to know if that is like unexpected or I don't know, because it's still unofficial, but we'll see how it turns out, but it will probably, I think, end up to be...
Well, the jam refs are just checking.
Yes, and they will not probably switch over the scores.
So the Flat Track Stats was predicting that for every 2 points that Vienna scored, Lute would score 3.
Oof.
So this is a big win for Vienna. They will be really happy with that result. But I think Lute have shown such strength in just right to the last jam.
Yes.
Trying to keep that differential down. They fought for every single point. That is the final scores. They have been confirmed at 155 to 228. There is a tournament winner this weekend. So the teams are competing against each other in a round robin. So it is Vienna who now have 1 win and Lute who have 1 loss. The winner of the tournament will be the team with the most wins. If we have 2 teams with the same number of wins, it will be the points differential across the whole tournament. So again, Vienna with a roughly 70 points differential going into that, that will be a nice cushion for them to take in for the tournament. But Lute absolutely can come back and challenge for the win towards the end. So while we are just going to be lining up for the post-game interview, but while we do, a chance to talk about that game. What an exciting first game.
Yes, it was.
Passion, commitment, footwork, blocks that just were to die for.
For me, I kind of thought about this in the end, like the setback maybe for Lute, that it was harder than they imagined, and with WFTDA rankings saying something else. I really think they mentally kind of won this game, because we all know how hard these games are for a team that you think you will probably win, but then you end up with a loss, and it's mentally so discouraging. So I hope they can. They did really keep their mental game on for me in this game, but I hope they can regain their mental strength and then
they
show...
have another game this afternoon, so you've got to come straight back from that loss to go, okay, right, how are we going to do it for the next game?
The past is the past, and we're going to look at this jam at a jam.
Yep.
So I'm really looking forward to see them again, because I really think they have their defense is really strong. They just have to, the lines are a bit tricky maybe, but their offense is also beautiful. It's amazing to see how their defense can also do offense and switch back immediately.
It was a game about defense. I mean, Vienna had some very strong jammers. I mean, Honey Badger was a standout for them. But it was the defense that in the end makes the real difference. And you can see the strength from both teams. They've really been working on how do you do a 3-wall, and how, because the other factor in that defense being important was how many blocker penalties there were.
Yep.
I mean, Vienna in particular, I think, had towards the end of the game, were picking up a large number of blocker penalties, and that was letting Lute close the gap down with those multiple scoring passes. Because if you only have 2 blockers on track, it is going to be difficult.
Yeah, for me the difference was also made by the offense as well. You saw the strong 3 walls for Lute, but Vienna had strong 2 walls and were still able to send an offense, which makes it so much. I'm going to say easier, but I don't mean easier for the jammers to get that lead or that scoring pass in. So I think that's really important to also remind or to remember when you watch these games, that the 2 walls are very strong for Vienna.
So, I mean, this is the first game of the tournament. We've got 7 games over the 2 days, and this is the first game.
Yeah, it was already very exciting.
Yeah, and these are 4 very equally matched teams, close together each other in the rankings, but we can already see the rankings that aren't reflecting the gameplay that we've seen. And I think that's been the experience. When you get teams who haven't played together, as often, we're going to see these big swings.
Yes. And we have a great after-game interview here.
So we're going to hand you over. I've been Dork Mistress, and this is Nick Mops.
Yes.
And we are handing you over to Toxic Lady, who is talking to Maloko Violet from Vienna.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Dork Mistress. I'm Toxic Lady with I can't hear anything. Okay, it's good.
Hi, can you hear me?
From
Okay, good.
Vienna.
Hello.
Hello. How do you feel?
Great. I think that we outdid ourselves a little bit. We did better than expected, and we came through a little rough patch there at the end where we got a little crazy.
Yeah,
But-
you made a statistic lie. So
Yes.
according to the
Yes.
ranking,
Yes.
Lute was supposed to go on top, and you're on top.
Yeah. It's tough with rankings in Europe. I mean, we don't all get as many opportunities to play as I think we'd like, just because of the distances and things. So they're doing the best they can with statistics, but you just never know. And then,
No, you never do.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for this tournament?
Well, just like everything else, we just try to practice as much as possible together. We've been trying to develop our strategies more. We don't get to play a lot in a season.
Okay.
So we've had a couple of games, and then this is sort of our big event for the season. Then we have one more game in December, and then we rest a little bit, and then we're back at it in March. But
Okay.
yeah, I'd say we try to scrimmage, and we usually have fewer at scrimmage. So we try to work on our endurance a little bit.
Okay.
So that we're ready for
I think you had a
tournament,
nice
but-
offense
yeah.
strategy today.
Yeah, it's getting better and better. That's like the last 2 years, more or less. We've been kind of really trying to get it together, get the offense together, and our jammers are trusting our offense more and more, and that's nice. Because
Yeah.
that's what's really tough. You can work on the moves, but the jammer and the offense, they kind of have to really trust each other. Because otherwise, the jammers just aren't quite taking it, and then if you don't take it at the right moment,
Yes.
So trust.
It was quite
Yeah.
frustrating for us because there's no penalty board anymore. So we would see
yeah.
lots of blockers,
Oh.
Viennese blockers in the penalty box, and I was kind of looking for,
Like,
is it going to be a fallout or something? So the last jams,
Yeah,
I was looking
we're
at
a
you
little-
guys
we got a
like,
little
what's
crazy.
going on?
We did okay. We did okay.
You did.
We did not have to exit the building. We got a little crazy there. I had to block a little bit, and I was hanging out in the penalty box a little
Yeah,
bit.
well, congratulations on this wonderful win. We will see each other in a half an hour, 20 minutes. Not you, I mean, with the rest of the game,
Yeah.
the next game. So the second game of this tournament is at 12:30 in 20 minutes. It's going to be our host, the Namur Roller Girls.
Oh, we gotta watch.
The B team, the A team? No, the A team, sorry. And against Glasgow.
So we're playing against both of these guys, so we got to watch.
Yeah,
And
you gotta rest. Please
now we-
hydrate.
Yeah,
Please
we have the
hydrate.
last game of the day in the first game, so I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah, you're lucky that way. Thank you again, Moloko. And congratulations again, and have a nice rest and
Thank you.
hydration.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.